So PMI just announced that the CAPM exam is officially changing starting next year in early 2023. But with this new change, how does that impact what you're studying and the topics that you need to know? There's so much to uncover, and we're going to review all of that in today's video. It feels so weird to hear that PMI is changing the CAPM exam, especially since I took it back in 2020. But it makes complete sense given that the entire content of the PMP exam was also just changed recently. Now, I took my CAPM exam in 2020, and up until this point, it was completely based off the PMBOK 6 edition and heavily focused on the 49 processes, the ITTOs, and the 10 knowledge areas. Agile was also still covered on your exam, but you needed a very basic understanding of how Agile is applied. So from 2018 up until now, the CAPM exam covered the following high-level areas: the introduction to project management, the project environment, the role of a project manager, and then we dive into each of the 10 knowledge areas. I want to emphasize that for each knowledge area, the CAPM exam emphasized your understanding of the different processes and the different ITTOs, or what they're called as the inputs, the tools, the techniques, and the outputs. So for example, if you're studying the knowledge area for scope management, you have to be very familiar with the following processes and in what stage they occurred: plan scope management, collect requirements, define scope, and create WBS, for example. All of those processes, they all took place during the planning phase of a project. And the two last processes of validate scope and control scope, they both took place during the monitoring and controlling phase of a project. Now, this is where it's important. Starting in early next year in 2023, if that's the time that you're going to take your CAPM exam, it will be based completely off of PMI's updated CAPM Exam Content Outline. And I'm going to leave links in the description down below so you can read this in more detail. So from PMI's latest announcement on their website, the updated CAPM exam beginning 2023 is no longer based off the PMBOK Guide 6 edition. I'll be reviewing the updated exam content outline step by step in this video, but as we go through this, I want you to leave me a comment down below. What is your impression of the updated CAPM exam? Let me know in the comment section below so that we can get everyone's feedback, and also to encourage those who are planning to take the CAPM exam this year. So just as a background, every few years or so, PMI conducts a global analysis involving market research and job analysis to make sure that the exam accurately reflects the project management profession. And this year, they've updated the CAPM exam so it's focused on 4 domains: project management fundamentals and core concepts, the predictive methodology, the Agile framework, and the business analysis framework. The newest area to your CAPM exam is the introduction of the business analysis framework and a specific section dedicated to the adaptive methodology. What's also very interesting here is the percentage of each domain that's covered on your exam. The project management fundamentals and the core concepts take up the biggest percentage of 36% of your exam, followed by the business analysis framework occupying 27%. And then you have the Agile framework, which takes up 20%. But check this out. The predictive methodology takes up the smallest percentage of questions on your exam, only 17%. To me, this shows that PMI is shifting the CAPM exam to be more Agile based, which is very similar to how they're now structuring the PMP exam. Now let's go into the exam content outline just a little bit deeper. Each domain is broken up into tasks, or the responsibilities that you would typically have as an entry-level project manager. So for domain 1, it's focused on the project management fundamentals and is divided into 5 key tasks. The first task tests your understanding of the different project life cycles and processes. From here, you'll need a strong understanding of the differences between a project, a program, and a portfolio, as well as the differences between a project and operations, as well as issues versus risks and assumptions versus constraints. You'll also need to understand how to review the project scope and how to apply PMI's code of ethics. The second task tests your knowledge on planning projects from a project management standpoint. Specifically, how do you take into consideration the impact of cost, quality, risk, and schedule When you're planning out your project, other areas that you need to know for this task are what's the difference between a project management plan and a product management plan? How is a milestone and a task different? How do you plan and identify the resources that you're going to need to execute your project? How do you use a risk register versus a stakeholder register? And lastly, how do you close out a project? The third task is heavily testing your knowledge of the different roles and responsibilities of those working on your project. So for example, the project manager, the sponsor, and each team member. You'll need to understand how leadership is different than management and how emotional intelligence impacts your ability to lead projects. If you take a closer look here, the exam content outline emphasizes that the project manager's role is that of an initiator, a negotiator, a listener, a coach, a working member, and a facilitator. Moving on to our fourth task, it's much more simplified here and is focused on executing a planned strategy, such as for communicating and responding to risks, as well as how to initiate projects and realizing those benefits. The final task for this domain is understanding different problem-solving tools and techniques. Specifically, the use of meetings such as focus groups, stand-ups, and brainstorming sessions. When I saw this last task, I immediately thought of the ITTOs, so that might be the area of this domain where you'll need to know a few tools and techniques that are used as an actual project manager. The second domain of the new CAPM exam is focused entirely on the predictive methodology. But again, as I mentioned earlier, it only takes up 17% of your entire exam. Something to consider if you're planning to take the exam after next year. The first task is focused on understanding when to use a predictive approach and what activities are involved with each process. The second task tests your understanding of a schedule and some of those key fundamentals involved in schedule management, such as critical path, being able to calculate schedule variance, determining a work breakdown structure and work package, and knowing how to apply both quality and integration management plans on your project. The last and final task in this domain is focused on how predictive projects are monitored and controlled. It's here that the exam content outline references artifacts and being able to calculate cost and schedule variances. So at a high level, we can see here that the structure of their new CAPM exam has already completely changed, and you can't just simply reference each knowledge area or chapter from your PMBOK guide. It literally encompasses so many different topics. Let's move on to the third domain, which is focused on the Agile and the Adaptive framework. The first task tests your knowledge on several key concepts. When is it best to use an Agile or a predictive approach when you're initiating and managing a project? How does this best fit your organization structure? And what's the difference between an enterprise environmental factor and an organizational process asset? The second task is focused on how iterations are planned and used in Agile projects. The third and fourth tasks test your ability to understand what artifacts are used on Agile projects and what components are used in different adaptive methodologies, such as Scrum, Extreme Programming, SAFe, and Kanban. And the last and final task for this domain focuses on success criteria and the prioritization of each task on Agile projects. Now, moving on to our fourth domain, we're looking at the business analysis framework, which in of itself is a new domain or knowledge area that was not previously covered on your CAPM exam. The first task tests your understanding of the different business analysis roles and responsibilities. So for example, a product manager, product owner, and a process owner. The second task involves understanding how to communicate with your stakeholders and making sure that you use the most appropriate communication tool. The third task tests your understanding with how to collect requirements, such as user stories, conducting interviews and workshops, and the need for a requirements traceability matrix or a product backlog. Moving on to our fourth task, this tests your understanding of what a product roadmap is and how components are tied to different releases. The fifth task is focused on the role of a business analyst in either a predictive or an Agile project. And the last and final task for business analysis is about how requirements are validated throughout the project's lifecycle and making sure that the acceptance criteria is successfully defined and that the final product meets the requirements from the requirements for stability matrix or the product backlog. Now you might be asking yourself, with these changes to the CAPM Exam Content Outline, have there been any other changes that you need to know? Well, if we scroll to the end of the updated CAPM Exam Content Outline, we see that the requirements to take the CAPM exam have not changed, and it still requires a high school diploma and 23 hours of project management education. The last page also tells us that the CAPM exam still consists of 150 questions and you're given 3 hours to take the entire exam. But check this out, you're now given a 10-minute break after you complete questions 1 through 75. The way that I interpret this is that the new CAPM exam is divided into 2 sections. You have to answer the first 75 questions in your first section. Once you hit submit, you are not allowed to go back and review those questions. So you'll need to be really careful with how you manage your time, and you'll need to make sure that you answer and review all of your questions before you hit submit on the very first section. After this first section is completed, you're then given a 10-minute break. And once that's completed, you have to complete the remaining 75 questions. The entire structure of your CAPM exam has completely changed. And I highly recommend that if you do plan on taking your CAPM exam, do yourself a favor and take it before the end of the year so that you can follow a much more structured studying approach and use all of the resources that are currently available to you, including my Ultimate CAPM Exam Simulator package. If you made it this far in the video, I want to reward you with the gift. Save 10% off my Ultimate CAPM Exam Simulator package by using discount code 10OFF using the link in the description down below. This will be available only to the first 10 people who use this code, so make sure you take advantage of it before it does go away. Since Agile takes up a much larger percentage of your CAPM exam, watch this video next to learn about the key differences between the predictive and the Agile approach. And if you master this one difference, you're going to be on the right path to becoming certified in project management. So just click here and I'll see you in the next video.